February 2026, movie Mayhem. This month was all about movies. I worked a lot and I was tired. I had a lot of schoolwork and I just didn't feel like playing games. I felt a little burnt out, a little tired, and all I really wanted to do was sit back, watch a movie, watch a show, and relax. So this is gonna be looking back on February and just talking about what I watched. Started the month off by watching Spy Kids 4 and All the Time in the World, I believe it's called. It is the lowest rated movie that I've ever watched. I believe on IMDb it's rated something like a 3.4. And I absolutely loved this movie as a kid. I believe I was going on a road trip with my family and they bought it for me on the iPad. Whatever, probably $3. It's probably even a ripoff for that this low of a movie, this low rated of a movie. And I watched that movie so much as a kid. I just watched it and rewatched it, and it was amazing. I don't know. I loved the characters. I loved the gadgets. I loved all the Spy Kids shenanigans. Um, and really, I really enjoyed it. And so yeah, I rewatched it, and it was good. It was surprisingly good. Everyone hated it. I don't know if it was some kind of a nostalgia that was pulling me back to it. If it was the nostalgia that just made me watch it, made me love, still love it and still care about it. But I mean, like the actors in it were good. They had a great cast. They had a lot of, they had a good amount of like famous actors. Um, and it was just a really good movie. It was a really good movie. And then after that, I got an order. Order came in and Blu-ray box set of American Pie. It was American Pie 1, American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. Four movies that I watched over the course of a week, or a little less than a week, probably about 5 or 6 days. And the first movie was cringe. There's a lot of cringe moments, and it was like I can't watch it like this. I gotta fast forward is what it felt like. Kind of like a super bad, as you feel like you gotta fast forward, and it's just corny and cringy and funny at a lot of times, but also just like unbearable to watch at sometimes. But it was so good. I laughed so much during that movie. Not like the most laughter that I've ever had in a movie, but like I laughed a ton. And then I had the second movie. Popped the second movie in. Second movie was just as good, if not better. And then after the second movie, it goes to what I love movies that have sequels that are time framed, you know, so that you actually see progression in their lives. Wedding, it was just it was good. They kept most of the characters. That was the one disappointment with Wedding specifically, is that some of the characters, especially one of the main guys and one of the main girl, or maybe two of the main girls, whether they were cast for something else or they weren't able to make the shoot, or they just had other stuff going on in their life. It was unfortunate to not have them, and they were missed. But the movies were still funny. They were still written amazingly. They were still hilarious. Wedding was great. It was just about the wedding between the two main characters, or two of the main characters, which is kind of odd because the first American Pie, is such a scattered movie with so many different plot points, and then the second one is also kind of scattered with kind of like the main guy focused on, and then Wedding is just all about him. It's just all about him and his wife, or his to be wife, and then Reunion ties it back together. The actors that weren't able to make it actually, have a line in there that were like, "Oh, sorry, I missed your wedding. I can't miss this." I think that's what he says. I couldn't miss this, and it was just funny to hear. And Reunion was such a good tie-in. And I really hope that they maybe even make a reunion too. That's 20 years after the actors have finished, or not 20 years after the actors finished, but 20 years in the future, it was because I think it was their 10-year high school reunion is what it was set in, and and film wise, it was around the same time. I think it was like 2002 to 2012 or something. And I think it would be really fun. I guess they've already passed. I mean, if that is correct, they've already passed the 20-year mark, maybe 30-year or something like that. But that was such a good movie, and it was amazing. And I loved all four of them. I gave them tens on IMDb. I know I'm not the best rater because anything I love and I want to rewatch, I'll give a 10 or a 9. But I have the box set. It's staying with me. I will definitely rewatch it whenever I just need to laugh and relax. And then moving on from that, I was still in the raunchy comedy kick, and I found this one, raunchy comedy called The Girl Next Door, which was a very odd concept, very funny. Um, the actors were great. I loved the villain, the kind of schizophrenic villain kind of feeling. Or they're sorry, not schizophrenic, but the bipolar villain, where he was just always like, he was harsh on this kid, and then he would like ease up on him, and be his friend, and then he was harsh on him, and it was just really creepy, really scary. It had a fun, I mean, for a comedy movie, it was kind of like, he had creepy emotions, and it was a weird concept, and the movie progressed way too quickly, but it was good. I gave it, I gave it an 8, I think, but I think I might change it and go lower because it was great, but looking back on this month, I really was not memorable for me. It was not memorable for me, but it was a good movie. And after that, I watched, yeah, I watched Goon, which is a poorly aged name, especially for now. And it was about hockey. I've been watching a lot of hockey with the Olympics. I forgot to talk about the Olympics. That's a big February thing. Team USA won gold in the Olympics for both men and women. It was an amazing moment to watch on TV. So happy. Um, but yeah, Goon was a very poorly aged name, and about hockey, about a guy who loves to fight. And he's part of a smart family, and that's the only thing they let him do. And he goes to this small town in Canada to play for like I think the OHL or something. Um, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. A lot of fighting, a lot of scrapping, simple storyline. It was with Stifler. Stifler was the actor, and he looked almost unrecognizable as well. He looked so much different. And the movie had a lot of good plot points. Good, it was funny. It was another movie that progressed too quickly. They weren't able to fit enough in. But the characters were fun. It was a funny movie. Um, it was a little dark at times, but yeah, it was great. And then after that, I watched two mediocre snooze fests. It's the only way to proclaim them. It was Status Update with there's those Disney actors that phase out of Disney, and it was literally like a Disney high school movie, but I don't think it was made by Disney. So they could swear, and that was about it. That was really odd. It was a super odd movie. Reminds me of the other Disney high school movies that I've watched because they're fun to watch. They're always mediocre, and sometimes they scratch the underbelly of mediocre, and maybe go to a 7 or an 8. And I enjoy some of them. Um, but yeah, this movie was just boring. The dynamic with the girl and the guy was just weird. Um, and it's about his phone that he could make anything come true. And it was just odd. It was an odd time, and it also had hockey in it, and I didn't even know about it um, until I started watching the movie. And it's he's like that major hockey team, which is it's cool they focus on hockey instead of football for once or soccer. It's like the jocks play hockey instead of football. Um, but yeah, that was pretty funny. And then Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. This movie was bad. It was mediocre. I laughed a few times, and then other than that, the jokes were funny, but I didn't feel the need to laugh. They didn't stick. Didn't really feel much. They were just so-so. They were whatever. Um, and since I watched so many movies this month, I really didn't play that many games. I finished up Doom 2016 pretty early in the month. And I love movement shooters. I really love movement shooters. I finished it up. I played it. It was enjoyable. It was fun. And that was about it. I revisited Forza Horizon 4. I'm super excited for Forza Horizon 6, set in Japan. That'll be super fun. But Forza Horizon 4, it's just an amazing game. I owned it on Xbox. I found that I was able to play it on the Microsoft Store on my computer. And I keep on forgetting about the game because it's not on Steam. Um, or, because I don't own it on Steam. So I just totally forget about it. To play games, I normally open up my Steam library. Except whenever I'm looking for something to play, it just completely passes up my mind. And when I really think about it and I really sit down and I play it, I have a ton of fun. Whether it's driving around or doing races or customizing a car, I absolutely love Forza. It's my favorite driving game of all time, and I'm really excited for Forza Horizon 6. I really wish they could release it early. I also bought two new games this month. I bought Star Sand Island, which seemed like a promising kind of Stardew Valley, like calm farming sim esque, relationship, make friends with the villagers, and do all this. It's a fun game. I put in 12 hours into it. I just it's so survival craft esque. You're not really surviving, but crafting. There's just too much resource management, and it's good enough because they let you store, and you don't have to actually have like your resources in your backpack. You can keep them in the chest, and it'll just tell you what you have to craft. But I don't like games where the whole progression sequences are crafting, getting better at crafting, crafting different crafting tables, upgrading crafting tables, going then mining more resources, coming back. They're fun, they're overwhelming, they make you just think about the game, which is nice. It's an escape from reality. But I like the game. It's in early access. I think, I might have to wait a little bit longer to play more, but who knows. I also revisited The Sims 4. Always liked The Sims. Liked The Sims for a while now. I think I got the game back in 2020, 2021. And it's always been an on and off game. I played it a lot in, October or November. I think maybe a mix between October and November. Just dropped it. Didn't play it until February. And, yeah, I've been playing it kind of late February, early March now, and yeah, it's been fun. It's been enjoyable. I liked it. Um, and I can't really think of any other games that I played this month besides, I guess Deep Rock. I played Deep Rock. I played the Lunar New Year event. It was fun. Put about an hour into the event. And that was about it. And yeah, I also started watching Dawson's Creek or Dawson's Creek, however you pronounce the last word, Creek. I can normally say Crick. Um, and James Vanderbeek passed away, and I loved him in Varsity Blues, which I watched, I believe in that fall time, November, October. I think October. I loved that movie, and hearing that he passed away was kind of sad, and so I decided to watch Dawson's Creek, kind of in his honor. Just keep the memory alive of him. And then another pain that hurt was this year at the end of 2025. I talked about my favorite band, my favorite musician of the year, of all time. This pretty much not all time, but it's up there, top 5 bands of all time. My favorite musicians of all time. Brad Arnold, the singer of Three Doors Down, passed away, and that hurt. I was sad. I was definitely sad about it. I maybe I'm not really a concert guy, but maybe one day I'd want to go to a concert for Three Doors Down. I know they're not very an active band anymore, but now that he's passed away, they'll never be the same. Everyone that got to see them in concert probably is happy that they did. Um, and yeah, sorry to leave it on a somber note, but this month had some influential deaths, in the acting and music space, especially for me, a fan of media. Um, but yeah, I'll leave it there. Talk to you in a month.